The future is a wave of a hand away. In case you missed it, here it is again. This is a whole new level of security. No keys or access cards, difficult to steal and copy, but the technology requires a certain level of commitment that's not for the faint-hearted. So this is where the microchip implant story begins, for those who want them at least. A clinical setting, a sterile environment, with some rather daunting bits of medical kit. So talk us through what happens next.
So the first part of the procedure is local anaesthetic is applied, so just your hand there. Then we'll use a scalpel just to make a small incision just there. And then finally it's the rather large needle applicator, and that will be pushed just...
I'll stop you there. For me, in my case at least, I think everyone really wants to know is, does it really hurt?
Completely pain-free.
The UK firm Biotech offers implants to businesses and individuals. It's fitted 150 implants in the UK so far, and the number's rising.
Assistive technology for disabled people, we implant. Banking, security, general users, so contactless payments, passport data, all could be stored on these microchips and embedded in your hand. Comes down to convenience, I suppose, for a lot of people. It's very hard to lose your hand. It's easy to lose your keys, your wallet, so a lot of certain demographics want that convenience.
This is one of several implant firms reportedly in discussions with British financial and legal companies. The names of the companies are being closely guarded. This isn't new technology. Microchips have been implanted in pets for many years, but the prospect of implanting them in employees has sparked concerns from trade unions.
Microchipping gives even more control and power to the employer. And that comes with inherent risks and dangers. Those risks and dangers shouldn't just be ignored by an employer. They need to take those into consideration, and they definitely shouldn't be pressuring any workers into being microchipped.
Biotech companies say the technology should be voluntary and that people must have a right to privacy. But with one Swedish firm, Biohacks, claiming to have already implanted 4,000 people, there are worries microchipping could eventually become the new normal. Societies embrace the mobile phone, making us easy to track on a daily basis. But by implanting microchips, there may be few places left to truly escape from technology.
So these are brain sensors that are starting to be embedded in everyday devices, but until now have been a number of niche companies that really have focused on mindfulness and meditation. The use of, for example, brain sensors that can pick up electrical activity in the brain at a pretty low resolution, but advances in AI have both improved what the signal is that can come from the brain and enabled the miniaturization of those products. As a lot of the major tech companies start to invest in these brain sensors, it's a huge, I think, untapped market in many ways of integrating them into everyday devices. These are earbuds or watches or headphones and the soft cups around the ears. Many of those products are hitting the market this year, and others are hitting them within the next 2 years, such that people can listen to music, a phone call, etc., while having those devices in ears. Initially, what they will be capable of doing is very high-level brain state reading. Things like, are you tired? Are you paying attention? Is your mind wandering? Are you happy or sad? They maybe enable interaction like up, down, left, right for interaction with other technologies. And they're being embedded into things like virtual reality headsets.
Elon Musk's brain implant company Neuralink has received a major new green light from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration that will rapidly expand the scale of Neuralink's human trial with their first brain-computer interface device known as the Link. The latest FDA approval grants the biotech company permission to implant a second human patient with their brain chip as early as June 2024. That second user will join Neuralink patient 0, Nolan Arbaugh, in the company's PRIME study, which is currently assessing the safety and effectiveness of the radical new brain implant procedure. Speaking of which, there have already been a few very well-publicized issues with Nolan's first implant procedure, mostly having to do with some of the ultra-thin and flexible electrode wires retracting from Nolan's brain tissue, which will inherently reduce the potential effectiveness of the Link. A new report from the Wall Street Journal reveals that most of the 64 wires originally placed into Nolan's motor cortex by an autonomous surgical robot had fallen out after about 1 month post-surgery. Nolan has said in a recent interview that only 15% of the link electrodes remain in place today, but according to Neuralink, these remaining threads have stabilized, and improvements made to the software algorithms that decode his brain signals have restored Nolan's brain-computer interface capabilities. In light of this, Neuralink has made some changes to their implant procedure that have just been signed off by the FDA and approved for use in patient number 2. Neuralink says that one of the unexpected variables they've encountered has been the excessive movement of the human brain. The largest animal brain that Neuralink had previously implanted would have been a sheep, which is pretty big as far as animals go, but comparatively much smaller than a human brain. So what they found was that the human brain actually moves around up to 3 times more than what Neuralink had expected, and the excessive movement just kind of shook the threads loose. So what's the solution? Pretty simple, really. Just stick the threads in deeper. The FDA has approved Neuralink to reach a depth of 8 millimeters into the brain tissue with their next operation. Nolan's threads were targeted at between 3 and 5 millimeters. With their second operation now happening as soon as next month, Neuralink is clear to implant up to 10 human patients before the end of this year. According to an unnamed Neuralink source reported by the WSJ, there are more than 1,000 quadriplegics who have signed up for Neuralink's patient registry, though fewer than 100 qualify for the study at this time. Neuralink is said to be in search of a diverse set of recipients in order to study a variety of different behaviors. Neuralink sources reported by the WSJ claim that the company's next step will be moving towards regulatory approval in Canada and the United Kingdom in the coming months. Neuralink's patient registry is already open for Canada and will be opening for Britain in a matter of days.
This is Revelations 13 and 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Verse 17. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. This is the 666. Shalom Akim. Kahala Yahweh, Bashem Yashai, Bashem Rakak Radash. Double honors my teachers, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect, who the house of David will be born again in this generation. And shalom to the 130 Yasharallah, who today are known as the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, who before losing our true heritage, we were known as, and still are, the true Hebrew Israelites of the Holy Bible. In today's lesson, we're going to talk about the mark, and to warn you, Akim, out there that we are fastly coming upon this prophecy fulfilling itself. Right? Just a few days ago, Babylon the Great approved the second patient for the Neuralink chip. Right? They're going to actually go deeper this time, like it showed you in the video. And like I said in the video, they can implant up to 10 more people by the end of 2024. So you know these devils are going to go ahead and go after that, and they're going to basically push forward with this overall agenda. In the video we also watched at the World Economic Forum, the topic of brain sensors was also spoken about. Now, what was spoken about were wearable brain sensors, right? The new Apple AirBuds, the new Bluetooth headphones that people use, or also the augmented reality visors, and all future headgear, accessory, whatever it be. They're going to start implementing these biometric sensors where they're going to be able to read your brain, read your mood, go ahead and have some sort of interface with it mentally. Now, this will definitely lead to an implantable brain sensor, okay? And you're seeing that right here on the screen, right? We have the implantable RFID microchip, which is what the mark of the beast prophesied in the Bible, in the book of Revelations, actually is, right? Both the chips that go in your hands or the chips that go into your forehead, right? Your brain. Now, what we're seeing literally play out in front of our eyes is this prophecy coming to light. Now, we still have a ways to go, but notice in the last video where it said that Neuralink is working to get the items approved in Canada and also in England, right? And you're going to definitely see it adopted all over the Beast system and here in Babylon the Great, right? The Beast system is, or should I say the Beast, is the NATO EU powers. So this is why they refer to this as the mark of the beast, okay? Because this is going to go over everybody. And again, you're going to have a version of this being pushed over there at Russia and, you know, and China and all those type of nations, right? The BRICS organizational nations are also going to have their own implantable chips, their own companies, right? They may use Neuralink or Verichip, but the point being is, though they try to pit us against each other, it's all one group of people being ruled by another group of people. That ruler group would be the nation of Edom, or what the Bible refers to as the wicked of the Bible, or what we know them as today, the Caucasian race. Okay? And again, this isn't a black and white thing. All white people aren't Edomites, but again, the predominantly large group of Caucasians are Edomites, okay? Same thing, right? Not every so-called Negro is an Israelite, but predominantly the majority of the Negroes are Israelites. And same thing, not every Latino is an Israelite, but the majority of the 10 tribes dwell amongst the Latino nations, okay? But ultimately, the human race, right, all 18 nations, which are now referred to as the 197 nations by the UN, have all mixed, okay? There's no pure nation anymore, okay? There's a mixture of all nations, there's a separating. But that being said, the rulers of this world, who we, the people, refer to as the 1%ers, the elites, those are the Edomites, okay? Those group of people, okay? And it's very clear when you look into the system and the real corporations, not the, you know, small fronts, but I'm talking about the big corporations in the background that run the infrastructure. It's Esau that owns those companies. They own all the land. They're squarely in a rulership, okay? This is Proverbs 22:3. A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. And that's what's going on, right? You're seeing a lot of Israelites who are in this truth and Israelites that aren't in this truth, that are just aware of just what's kind of going on in the world. They know the what, but they don't know the why yet. But even they can see what the mark of the beast is, right? These microchips. They don't refer to them, to these chips, these tracking devices, as the mark of the beast. They just see it as a dystopian future tracking device, right? Just like you have Esau and the prepper community, and you know, any other buddy who is simply just watching can see that this is the coming agenda, right? To microchip the populace, to control, track, and tax those that remain, that haven't died off. This is Revelations 12:12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. And that's what's happening. These devils, remember, this plan was originally called Agenda 21, right? But now they're calling it, you know, the 2030 agenda, and you know, and all that type of stuff. Because you see, these devils, they're falling behind. And the reason why they're falling behind is because time has sped up, right? Science has found that the earth is vibrating at a faster rate now. The Schumann resonance, which is the vibration that the earth vibrates at, is increased, which basically makes us here on the earth perceive a 24-hour day as 16 hours. This affects everything. They've shown how we're now experiencing faster years. In general, they've had to even adjust the time. I think they've taken off like a second or something. But the point being is that the Lord has been moving the celestial heavens to make all this happen, right? It tells us in the Bible that for the elect's sake, the elect being the 1 out of every 3 Negro, Latino, Native Americans, and anybody whose father's lineage goes back to that bloodline, for their sake, the Lord has sped up the time so that way they can be saved. And that has caused these devils to fall behind, right? And it's very evident, all right? This is why everything seems to be rushed. You see agenda after crisis after crisis, and so on and so on. There's no resting period. And why is that? Well, because these devils are behind schedule, and they're just trying to put everybody through the ringer, right? Through the ritual, through the process of breaking them down, so that way they could go forward with their New World Order agenda, which is to cold society and also to microchip those that remain with these implantable microchips, or what the Bible refers to as the mark of the beast. But what happens if you are stuck there and you do get this? Well, the Bible makes it very clear. This is Revelations 14:9. And the third angel followed, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast or his image, and receiveth his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. So you see, those who fall for the temptation of Esau's system, they want to continue to try to save the life that they believe they have here, right? Their fame, their fortune, their business, their family, all the things that they built in this society, which really is just a vapor. It's going to, all be done away with, right? Every work shall be tried with fire, as the Bible says. What's going to withstand it, right? And what that means is ultimately, we're already seeing it now, right? People are having a different perspective on life, and hence they're choosing to abandon things that aren't important to them. A perfect example would be how the fast food companies are imploding right now because of the price has gone up so much that people are seeing that it's not worth it. And also you have an overall vibe that people know that these places are bad for you. So a lot of the younger generations are avoiding these places. But the thing is that there's a change coming, and these devils are going to initiate this mark system, which you will have to participate to be part of this society. And without it, you're not going to be able to ride in these electric taxis. You're not going to be able to get a mainstream job. You're not going to be able to healthcare in the regular healthcare system, right? You're not going to be able to get your universal basic income monthly payment, right? These devils are going to make it very difficult for you to exist in society without that mark. Almost impossible, right? Like it says, no man shall buy or sell, which means you're going to have to be dealing in the black market. But that's what the Bible says, does it not? Be ye as pilgrims upon the earth, which means you're going to have to find an alternative way to survive. You're going to be dealing with other people who are also trying to get out from that system. But again, it won't matter if you have all these prepper buddies, or if you yourself are a prepper, or all this, you're trying to buy 30 acres out in Georgia, build a little community. It won't matter, because if you don't have the Lord on your side, none of it's going to succeed, right? He that buildeth a house without the Lord is like one that buildeth it upon sand, right? That house will have a great ruin, as the Bible says. So this is why you have to have your foundation in the Bible, because you got to realize that right now, what we know as life and existence, our history, has simply been an incubation period for us, for the Lord to create the Israelites, Zion, right, his monument. And none of this is going to matter. I remember one of the brothers put it very plainly, right? He says it's like trying to tile the countertops in an Airbnb. It doesn't make sense to set down your roots to try to build there, because again, it's only temporary. This is Revelations 3:10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. So this right here cuts that whole rapture Protestant Christian dogma, right? There is going to be no rapture, and then the Lord's going to come back 7 years later to pick up all the people who have had a change of heart. No, that's not going to happen. What's going to happen is that these devils, these Edomites, the rulers of the world, are going to initiate this mark of the beast system. People are going to be given option to take it or to opt out. Everybody on the earth is going to have this test. What did the Lord call it? The hour of temptation. And by being in this truth, by having that spiritual hedge, remember I just said, you can prepare all you want, but without having the Lord on your side, without having this truth as your foundation, the Lord isn't going to be with you in that hour of temptation. And that's what you need. You need your faith. You need the Lord to be with you. You need that spiritual hedge around you so that way you can survive through the coming calamities. But because again, when this goes down, the Lord's going to come when the chip becomes mandatory, World War III's broken out into full force, and the nukes have started to fly. That's when the Lord's going to show up. That's when he's going to pull out his 1/3 and the elect, right? And that's it. Then the powers that be that rule this current world will be taken out of power, and then the Lord, along with us Israelites, are going to take over and rule. I just wanted to share this update, Akim. Hopefully it was edifying. So until next time, I want to give all honor and glory and praises to Yahweh B'Shem Yahshai B'Shem Ruach HaKodesh. Shalom.